Hello, everyone, and welcome to Marari's Industry 4.0 show. I am your host, Brad Wade. Thank you for joining us today. And today I am very excited. Got a great guest, and I've been talking to him for weeks now, and I'm so excited to have him on air with us today and joining, and that is Viktor Sinzig. Viktor, thank you for joining us. It's so good to see you. How are you today?
Doing well, Brad. Well, thank you for having me. I've been excited about this and look forward to being on your show.
Awesome. Well, it's great to have you. Now, Viktor is the Director of Partnerships and Customer Success for FLEK. Now, Viktor, FLEK has two really cool products that we're gonna talk about, and this is going to be a two-part series. We're going to mention both of them, but what I'd love is you have FLEK Remote, and that's what we're going to chat a little bit about today. You have FLEK Remote, FLEK One, and that's where we're going to get into those. But before we talk about the products, could you give us a little insight, a little background about FLEK as a company?
Yeah, I'd be happy to, Brad. So Reflect was founded in 2012 as a professional services company. So we worked with companies to optimize and make their maintenance, training, and operational procedures more efficient by building AR applications. So we spent a lot of time and effort on, customizing these one-off projects, which were great. I mean, our customers saw a lot of value in the end. However, that process was just not scalable because we relied on, for example, software engineers, developers to do that. So we noticed three trends. One, products are becoming more and more complex. Specialist knowledge is becoming more and more required. And qualified employees are hard to find and expensive to train. So we built Reflect One. Reflect One is an AR content creation platform that makes the process of building that immersive AR content easy and scalable. So that's Reflect One. Reflect Remote, on the other hand, is more tailored to really bridge the gap between the expert and the technician. So that's just a high-level overview. But today we have over 60 employees located here in San Francisco. I live in San Francisco, and then we also have an office in Munich, Germany.
Wow, that's perfect. And I was just about to ask you to kind of give us a little bit of the difference between the two. So as a recap, so Reflect One is an AR creation platform, and Reflect Remote is really about doing remote services, correct?
That's correct. That's correct. So Reflect Remote is really built to bridge the gap between the expert and the technician. So if you could imagine, let's say you're a technician out in the field performing a bearing change, for example, on a piece of equipment. You have the ability to reach the correct expert, let's say, if you run into an issue, and the expert can guide you through the process of replacing that bearing. And the expert can see what you see. Let's say if you're wearing a hands-free device, such as a RealWear HMT1 or a HoloLens device, they can really guide you through that process of replacing the bearing. And it utilizes their technology backbone around intelligent incident management, AR functions, and reporting and analytics. Whereas Reflect One, on the other hand, is more focused on optimizing training, maintenance, and operational procedures, really building immersive AR manuals and work instructions.
Awesome. Well, that was a great overview of both of them. Now, let me ask you, when this is being filmed, we're very much in the thick of the COVID-19 situation. Now, with this current situation, travel restrictions and everything, what are some of the challenges that businesses are facing that you've seen, and how does this technology help them deal with some of these new challenges they're facing?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question, Brad. And you and I have had numerous conversations about this. I mean, COVID-19 has presented some unprecedented challenges. It has impacted every vertical, every industry, and we don't know how long this will last. I think this is really pushing companies to innovate, and it presents an opportunity for the new norm. And this is where Industry 4.0 and optimizing the connected worker will be crucial. So two challenges that I've seen are around product line transfers, for example. We have an automotive customer, and they perform product line transfers globally. And traditionally, or pre-COVID, they would send experts on site to help with these product line transfers. But now that's virtually impossible. Another challenge that I've seen is really around suppliers and service contracts, for example. If a supplier needs to service a customer pre-COVID, they would just fly someone out and let's say train or diagnose or repair a piece of equipment. Now with COVID, that's difficult. I mean, if not impossible, with some companies not allowing third-party vendors on site, travel restrictions. But our customers have seen a substantial advantage around significantly lower travel costs, decreased equipment downtime, a faster time to repair, just to name three areas. But in summary, I think this is really an opportunity for innovation. It's forced in a way, but in the end, I think companies being forced to change will see huge value, and I have no doubt about that.
Well, that's wonderful, and you really shared it in a great way that looked at some really good key points. The significantly lower travel cost, the shorter equipment downtime, faster time to repair. Now let's jump into another area where we've had some discussions, and I know you guys work with a lot of incredible companies that they use your software, they use your services to do this. And now let's talk a little bit about the transfer of knowledge, if you will. I mean, we'll just phrase it like that, where, one person, and I always like to share it like this. Whenever I'm talking about, this technology, I share the idea around, okay, you've had somebody that's been, in the company for 40 years, and they are the absolute experts, and insert any industry situation you want. And so somebody who's they've seen all the machines for the last 40 years, they know what it's like when they go out there on site, but maybe they just retired. They have incredible amounts of knowledge and information. Now there's a new person that goes out, they're very skilled, they're very educated, very well trained, but maybe there's some knowledge that they don't have. Now, can you share how we can connect those people through technology like yours? And, just the change into, I think we've talked about one person not just having to be the keeper of all the knowledge anymore.
Yeah, no, that, knowledge isolation is definitely an area that companies also are seeing a lot of challenges too, and that's a very good point. I work with many of our customers, and this is definitely an area that can be optimized. One customer that comes to mind is a medical device manufacturer, and they, traditionally would train their team members, and there would be, let's say, one individual that has a lot of the knowledge because they've been there since day one. And through leveraging, remote capabilities and Reflect One, for example, we're able to make that individual more scalable, but through building, AR content. For example, I mean, a lot of procedures or training manuals are still paper-based, right? So they have to rely on that individual to train them or guide them. And now we are building immersive AR solutions, and customers are seeing potential such as reduced human error, decreased proficiency time, reduced human trainer involvement, easy content updating, and then also, most importantly, knowledge is no longer being, let's say, isolated to one specific individual.
I love that, and you use the term knowledge isolation. That's a great way to kind of really coin what is happening, what you just discussed. Now we're going to share a link of Reflect Remote in action, but before we do, I'd really just kind of like to talk about you're hearing us talk about remote operations and assistance and all these things. What it really looks like is looking through a mobile device, a tablet, a hands-free piece of hardware. What we're talking about is like having another set of eyes to assist you. And what this is like we now have the capability and the technology to augment that situation, if you will, to put information over top. You can annotate over top. They can hear and see, and you can guide them. Just a little peek into the technology. Do you have maybe a better way to sum up, rather than how I did, on what the technology maybe looks like to somebody that hasn't seen it? How can they get a visual of what it looks like?
Yeah, I mean, if you were to picture yourself, let's say you're out in the field, and just to give you a real life example, let's say you're changing an air filter on a car, and you need assistance, you need support. Let's say you're unable to go to the repair shop to get that air filter replaced, but you just have no clue where that air filter is located on the car, and you need some expert guidance. So let's say you had Reflect Remote installed on your mobile device, your phone, for example. You now have the ability to contact that expert who has all that knowledge. And then let's say you have the phone, and you can basically show to the expert what you're looking at, and the expert will annotate and draw on the screen and guide you through the process of replacing that air filter. And we are product agnostic. So, another example is, let's say you're using a Microsoft HoloLens 2 device where it's a hands-free. So you could have something on your head, and that expert will guide you step by step, and now you have both of your hands to perform that air filter change.
That is so awesome, and that was a great way to describe it. So now people have an idea of what it really looks like. Not only like, okay, how can it assist you, but what does it actually look like in action? And as mentioned, you have some incredible partners that have adopted your software and your product and are using it, inside of their own products, which is incredible. And we can do a more discussion later on that. But as we start to wrap up on Reflect Remote, I want to just kind of give a little bit of an insight for people of what we're going to bring to them next show. So could you, before we sign off and head out for Reflect Remote, could you now kind of share a little bit about Reflect One and what people have to look forward to hearing more about Reflect One?
Yeah, so Reflect One is really an exciting opportunity for companies to really make their processes more efficient. So in our next episode, we'll talk more about the consultative approach that we take when implementing Reflect products such as Remote and One, focus on One in the next episode. Because we're not in the business of, let's say, throwing a technology at our customers and walking away. We really want to take a consultative approach with our partners such as Merari, because that's the only way to really make this successful. It's really guiding our customers through the process of understanding the use case, the KPI metrics, for example, and helping them realize those metrics and the KPIs and acceptance criteria, because there is a ton of value, and there are a lot of benefits to this, but it's a matter of helping our customers realize the benefits through a consultative approach.
That's fantastic. Now, as we start to wrap up for Reflect Remote in this first episode, now going back to Reflect Remote, who are some of the whether it's a business or an industry or a vertical, who is somebody they may be watching right now, Victor, and really got a good education, a good insight? Who is somebody right now, whether it's a business, a vertical, or an industry, that would be a really good candidate? And how would they know? What can you share with them so they'd be like, oh, that's something for me. I should check that out.
Yeah, I mean, any company really looking to optimize their remote collaboration. I mean, we work with industries such as pharmaceuticals, manufacturing, automotive, medical, as well as telecommunications, energy, just to name a few industries. But really, any organization looking to optimize their remote collaboration, it's not only the remote, the visualization component, but it's also more of the tracking components, such as incident management, reporting and analytics, to really give our customers visibility into all of that. So any industry looking to optimize the way that they perform work remotely. And now it is, I would say, more important than ever to make that process more efficient and scalable.
That's great. Now, Victor, if somebody would like more information about Reflect Remote or Reflect as a company, or even Reflect One, how should they contact you or the company? Where should they go, and how should they go about that?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we have a bunch of material on our website, case studies, white papers, testimonials. So I would take a look at the Reflect website, but also the Merari webpage has a bunch of very useful material as well. How to reach out to us, send me an email directly. What we will be doing is providing a COVID package special. So if you apply through the Merari webpage, we will provide a surprise. So I think that's a surprise to basically use our products and get some familiarization on that. So I would say that would be the best approach.
Well, that's fantastic. And you said you have a special package and even a surprise. So be sure. Thank you for that. Be sure to check out Reflect. But also, as you just heard Victor mention, go to Merari.us and go submit information through there, and they will assist you with everything Reflect on either of the products, their COVID-19 special, and assist you with any of your needs. And you're not alone out there. We're all facing this together. And you hear this is the time for innovation, and it's wonderful to have a company like yours helping us through these times. So Victor, thank you for joining us today. Thank you for sharing your insight. It's always a pleasure. We really value you taking the time to represent Reflect, represent the industry, and share how we can use this in industry. So everyone, be sure to join us again for the next episode when we do a deep dive into Reflect One. But also, as you heard, please go visit our sponsor, Merari, partner of Reflect. Connect with us on social media. Stay tuned as we finish this outro. You'll get all the information, all the credits. Be sure to stop by. Thank you, Victor. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Be sure to connect with us on social media. Let's keep this conversation going. Thank you, Victor. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Stay safe and stay connected, everybody.